Today being the 23rd of April at 6:30 in the evening, you are now witnessing the completion of a project that was started several years ago. This grandfather clock, as you see here, which is by Emperor Clock Company, a model 120 series, has been assembled by my father and I over the last several years, mostly in the last couple months. And this is one day after Mom's birthday, which she was 78. And is a gift for her. We managed to complete the assembly this afternoon, and actually we only had a few parts left over, so we know that even though these are out, that it will still work. And so today being 23rd of April in the year of our Lord, 1993. And now I would like to introduce the other craftsmen that had taken part in this project, Mr. Walter Doty.
I think it's most appropriate that we notice some words from the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, verses 1 to 13. There's a time for everything. It took us a long time to get to the place where this grandfather clock, which gives us the time, was completed, but let me share these words. This is from today's English version, the American Bible Society. Everything that happens in this world happens at the time God chooses. He sets a time for birth, and the time for death, the time for planting, and the time for pulling up, the time for killing and the time for healing, the time for tearing down and the time for building. He sets a time for sorrow and the time for joy, the time for mourning and the time for dancing, the time for making love and the time for not making love, the time for kissing and the time for not kissing. He sets a time for finding and the time for losing, the time for saving and the time for throwing away, the time for tearing and the time for mending, the time for silence and the time for talk. He sets a time for love and the time for hate, the time for war and the time for peace. What do we gain from all of our work? I know the heavy burdens that God has laid on us. He has set the time, the right time for everything. He has given us a desire to know the future, but never gives us the satisfaction of full understanding of what he does. So I realize that all we can do is be happy and do the best we can while we are still alive. All of us should eat and drink and enjoy what we have worked for. It is the gift of God. And now we are coming to the moment when the clock is to be started by a woman that has celebrated her second 39th birthday, a real swinger, because she's had 2 parties this week and she would have been glad to have another party tonight. Miss Lydia, will you come and start the clock?
How will I start?
All you got to do is
My goodness.
just give the... Okay. Now what you're going to do is to just move the pendulum over and let go of it.
Ready?
And there we have. The time has started.
And thank you for Dad and Jim. The grandfather clock is in operation.
Something's wrong. Yeah.
It's just,
Well, it's after 9, actually. Right now?
This is Grandpa, what he looks like. I'm Heather's and you take this
Okay.
and you get, look, careful.
Are you running it?
It's running.
Oh, yeah.